Eyewitness News.
And Joburg's Public Safety MMC says any e-hailing drivers who are found operating inside malls in Soweto will have their cars impounded. Yesterday, an agreement was made between e-hailing drivers and the taxi industry following heightened tensions this week. The parties agreed that e-hailing drivers will only drop off and collect clients at the entrance of malls. Mkini Tsakuwe says this is meant to restore peace.
We're going to have a meeting. We're going to be discussing the terms of reference of the committee, short-term solutions and the long-term ones. But temporarily, we say that the e-hailing guys, they can drop off now at the gate.
On the weather front, a fine Friday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Joburg dropping to an overnight low of 7 degrees, peaking at 23. Pretoria 9 and 24, Vereeniging 9 and 21. Lerato Huffela, Eyewitness News.
You can now enjoy the benefits of Maximo Advance, a performance enhancer that's faster acting and lasts for hours. Maximo Advance is a prescription-free way to assist in boosting your bedroom performance. Visit your nearest pharmacy today and try Maximo Advance for an experience that's impossible to forget.
Eyewitness News on 947. For more, click ewn.co.za.
#MSW. You may begin to feel anxious or excited.
Honest, deliberate, engaging, uncensored.
High dosage administration can cause adverse reactions.
And most importantly, independent in mind and execution.
This is a normal response. Are you ready?
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
History makers! Legends! The wait is finally over! Bowen's goal enough! Moyes has made it happen! Fiorentina and Italiano are beaten! Decades! Many decades of disappointment are over! All that hoping! All that dreaming! Now it's for real! This is finally West Ham's time!
#MSW.
I always listen to the show and I think I'm going to call in and I never do because I'm always on the road. So today I'm listening to the show and I'm listening to Linda and I'm like, no, I need to park. So I parked on the side of the road. I'm like, I need to phone in. Soccer is my life. My parents stopped me from playing soccer. So every time Linda, my heart is warm because they're following their dream.
#MSW.
Have you ever heard of a coach turning down a coaching job at Chippa United? But if your name is Kwanele Kopo and you turn down the mighty Chippa Mbengesi, it warrants a call from us to ask you why.
Maybe from remuneration in the beginning, anything that moves me out of Gauteng must really be worth the move.
Robert Marawa, live on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW.
Well, I guess the day has come through, the day we promised you. We're going to be doing the magical countdown towards the Netball World Cup to be staged in Cape Town. 50 days to go, and that is a massive milestone. The reality of it all, we'll have the assistant coach of the Spar Proteas in studio to chat to us about what the significance of it all is, but most importantly, how ready the ladies are. The state of readiness. Talking about being ready, 92 days to go before the Rugby World Cup, 78 days to go before the 2023 FIBA Basketball World Cup, and the FIFA Women's World Cup is happening in 42 days. So where do your interests lie? 060-708-0484, 060-708-0484. It is 947. Welcome to the show. Also live on Rise FM, Vuma FM, and on Sowetan Live. Live on YouTube, so you'll get a front row seat when I start my conversation with Dumisani Chauke just after the 20 past ad break right here on the show. But right now, though, I know that a lot of you have been wondering what's the latest with the story. That pretty much was a shocker last season. It made headlines plenty of times, and hey, we've got the latest on it. The Serbian striker Samir Norkovic has sensationally won his dispute, claiming a breach of contract against Royal AM following a protracted legal saga over a couple of months. It's been dragging on and on and on. I mean, although Norkovic signed a 2-year contract with an option of a 3rd year, Royal AM then strangely, they claimed that there was no valid contract and that the Serbian never appeared for the club after the striker filed his case with FIFA in November, on the 7th of November 2022. So Royal terminated the player's contract on claims that Norkovic was injured and also sent him a letter of termination with a month's notice on the 23rd of September. So we're going to go all the way to Zagreb in Croatia to chat to Samir Norkovic's lawyer, Davor Lazic. Davor, thank you so much for your time. Again, only a pleasure chatting to you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you again for having me. It's always a pleasure to be in your show, especially in these sort of circumstances. So good evening to you and to all of your listeners.
Just describing this, I would see it as a victory from the last time when we spoke. Take us through what has happened since FIFA intervened in this case.
Well, your summary is quite good. You told us everything about the facts of the case. What happened since the moment we filed a claim, we got a response. There was some exchange of the letters, and at the end we received the decision of Dispute Resolution Chamber on 3rd May this year. That was passed on 27th April. And in short, first of all, the Football Tribunal decided on its jurisdiction. And unlike the club's arguments, they, of course, stated they had jurisdiction to hear this case. Then they stated that the claim was accepted, the claim of the player of Samir Nurkovic. They stated that the club must pay the full amounts for those 2 years of the contracts. And further to it, and pursuant to Article 24 of the regulation on the status of transfer of the players, they also stated that if the full payment, including, of course, the interest, is not made within 45 days of notification of that decision, then the consequences shall apply. So basically, if we don't hear from the club, or if Summer does not receive his payment in next 10 days, then the club shall be banned from registering any new players on national and international level all the time up until the amount is paid. Of course, if that does not happen, then further consequences can be applicable, which means that even deduction of points or relegation to lower division may also be ordered, in addition to this ban on registering new players in the case that persistent failure continues.
Just on that case, have you spoken to Royal AM, or do they just get the directive from FIFA and you don't have any communication with them? Have they responded formally?
No, they have responded throughout the case. Once we filed the claim, that there was a response, there was a further exchange of the motions, and then we received this decision like now more than a month ago. From that moment, again, there was no contact from the club towards the player or towards me as his attorney. However, that's not something that you would expect. Now the only thing what we do expect is from the club to go with the flow, to respect the decision of dispute resolution chamber. If they wish to avoid further damages, or in this sense, if they want to avoid further bans.
Now, the club has been ordered to pay the full contract out. Is that the
Yes.
2-year contract?
Yes, quite right.
Now, that amount, they've never paid him anything, I think, since he joined. And I remember, seeing him coming out for Royal AM when they played in the Makufe Cup. I think he played for about 71 minutes in that game in September 2022. But they still claim that he was not their player. What were the grounds, though, and what did FIFA look at? Because we all saw the unveiling of the player on social media. He was carrying the jersey. We all saw him playing in the Makufe Cup. What were they claiming against it? Because, I think our vision is as good as anybody else.
Yeah, we've discussed that in details last time. Well, actually, there was this shift to their story because first story was that Summer came to the club and then he was injured. First of all, that he got injured and he was injured, but there was no mentioning of him never being in the club. So when they realized that this story is not convincing enough, they went further and they stated that Samir never appeared at the club premises between 1st July and 60 September. So the only thing what we could do during this case is to provide the football tribunal with all the evidences we could see and which could be and which could be found and which were actually available on the internet throughout that period. So we did provide the football tribunal with all those pictures published on clubs' social media. We provide them with videos of Summer playing that match in Makufe Cup and the pictures of his trainings, on numerous occasions throughout the July and August, even in September. So basically, again, as I mentioned on our previous occasion, I don't know how anyone could prove, that he wasn't there.
Now, Davor, when you look at the situation that faces Royal AM now, and I see this as a major victory of how consistent you've been with this case, how you've always been very articulate in terms of what you believe is right and wrong. Do you see it as major an achievement as what some of us look at it as? I mean, I look at it as an observer in football, and I think this is major. You've gone to FIFA. The people that run football in the entire world. And they are now saying, yes, can Royal AM bounce back and say, no, we're going to dispute this, we'll take it on some form of appeal? Is the appeal process, is the legal process now completely exhausted?
Yes, it is. Basically, they had the chance to file 4 grounds of this decision in period of 10 days. After receiving the decision. They haven't done so, and it's finished. If they did so, they would receive further grounds of decision, and then they would have, in theory, a chance to appeal this decision before Court of Arbitration of Sports. In my view, that would be also unsuccessful, but then they decided not to pursue that road, and therefore I really do. I'm pleased with this decision, but the only thing I wouldn't agree with you is when you said in introduction that it's sensational. I think, in my opinion, in summary, it's expected. I really did. Believe that we're going to win it, but in my opinion, it was clear-cut case from the start. However, I do strongly believe that the result of this procedure is really encouraging, not only for Samir, but for all other players who are or who will be in the similar position and who will have disputes with their clubs. Because, when you go in front of national courts or national tribunals or national arbitrators, it's the result may vary and it may take much longer time than we did it here in 6 months period of time. Because this is not a regular national court. It's a specialized FIFA tribunal for these sort of cases. So they know the law, they know the case law. So in these sort of tribunals, like in FIFA tribunal, all other players can get their rights protected through this sort of very quick and very efficient procedure.
All right, I got all of 2 minutes left here. David, I got two quick fire questions to throw at you. The most uncomfortable of the questions, which I'm sure is not uncomfortable for you, is how much do Royal AM owe Nukovic, or how much are they supposed to pay him?
A lot. I won't go into the details, but he had the best contract in the club, so the full amount for 2 years. It's a lot. I think it's record, but I don't want to mention the specific sum. But it is, the whole 2 years of contract plus 5% of annual interest on that amount.
Sure. Would you say it runs into double figure millions?
A bit, yeah. But well, it's. I think it's personal issue. How much somebody earns. You had it actually in your media when he was signing the contract. There were some amounts there, so you can figure it out yourself.
Mm-hmm. Cape Town, he's been spotted there, Cape Town City. I know that you are representing him legally. You might not want to answer this one, but is there any chance of him finding a new home in Cape Town?
I hope so. Basically, he is fit and he is ready and he is free of any clubs. So I think it would be a good solution for both of him and some future club in South Africa to get together, to sign for some other club here, or not here in Croatia, here in South Africa.
I mean, nothing wrong about Cape Town City, is there? Good club.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he has his agents, and who are representing him in that regard. So you might discuss that with them and with the player himself, But yes, there's nothing wrong with it.
All right, Davor Lazic, thank you so much indeed for joining us live from Zagreb in Croatia. Samir Nukovic's lawyer just breaking it down, a victory for them in that case that went to FIFA. Davor, thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you. All the best to you, Robert, as well.
Thank you very, very much indeed.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
But if your name is Kwanele Kopo and you turned down the mighty Chipambengesi, it warrants a call from us to ask you why.
I think, everybody knows what has happened at Chipa before. That was not the main thing. You can always close that with security in terms of securing your contract. We've been negotiating with Chipa, I think, for over 2 weeks now, going back and forth. Everything that I want to pursue also as an individual. And we just felt that the time is not right. It's no lie that it can be a factor. The fact that a lot of the coaches have not stayed long there, it's not worth it at the moment. I've worked before with coaches that are less qualified than me. But to be honest, that was not a factor at all.
A lucky stars above, but not for me.
#MSW.
#MSW.
Marawa Sports Worldwide Live.
In 3, 2, 1.
On 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live.
#MSW.
Benny's been waiting for his next passenger, but while there's a break in play, it's time to check on his multi-bet, needing just one more result for an incredible win.
Utata! How does Benny even handle the pressure?
It's been a smooth ride so far, but what's this?
Goal! Is this the end of his multi-bet?
The final whistle's blown, but there's still gas left in the tank. With money back boost, he'll at least get all the cash he put down back. Another great offer from Betway.
Wati moto, wati farara. Apay labantu.
T's and C's apply. Licensed and regulated by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. For gambling counseling, call SARGF on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp 076 675 0710.
Bounce to the beat, people hands up.
This is 947.
947.
Bright light, dark shadow, ensure that your photos are always stunningly vivid. Content creators, there's a world for you at Photocom World. Get the Huawei Nova 11i on a 1.2 gig red core data plan for only 269 Rand per month over 36 months. Just imagine, you could be shooting all your new videos with a crisp, world-class camera. Deal available only at Vodacom World, the home of digital innovation. T's and C's apply. Further together, Vodacom.
Burger King brings you that flame grill fever. Tonight we're shouting out a man who makes his own firelighters. Part alchemist, all artist. From paraffin-soaked tea bags to corks marinated in paprika and... Is that goat's blood? Well, why use store-bought? We get it. So here's to you, brother. Because we're as obsessed with flame grilling as you are. It's why we've been perfecting the flame-grilled Whopper since 1954. Burger King.
In 2012, a woman was murdered in Olifantsfontein. A year later, a woman was poisoned in Bushbuck Ridge. Then, each year from 2015 to 2018, another victim appeared. The connection? They were all related. And on every life insurance policy was one beneficiary, Rosemary Ndlovu. From the creators of Devil's Dorp comes Rosemary's Hit List, a Showmax original documentary series about an ex-cop who put hits on her family for money, landing 14 June on Showmax.
This is... Here we go! 947.
Live extra every day with Checkers, SA's #1 value for money supermarket. This week, save big with deals like Steakhouse Classic New York Strip Steak, 300 grams for only 48 Rand. Be Well canola oil, 2 litre, just 69.99. And Sensodyne toothpaste, 75 mils, only 64.99 each. Valid until 11 June at Checkers and Checkers Hyper.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Shining star for you to see.
The Randfontein Ronaldinho, Linda Mutlalo, ladies and gentlemen, is here. Glasgow City midfielder and champion. How would you describe your stay in Sweden?
The teammates there were very wonderful. They were very accommodating.
Was there any possibility of you renewing that contract?
I had the amazing 3 years and it was time for me to look somewhere else, and Glasgow called.
It's just this moving train, but you're playing at the highest level, which we see the benefits thereof when you're playing for the national team.
For me, it's just to adjust and do my job.
But what sort of challenges do you face?
The challenge was she's too small to play in that position. But I had to prove myself, you know.
Shining star for you to see what your life can truly be.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW.
Yeah, it's almost like the dramatic 50 days to go, hey? Unbelievably so. And so many people on Twitter saying they are excited that netball is getting the kind of coverage that it deserves. Puseletso, thank you so much indeed. So happy to see more coverage on netball as a sport. Excited for the World Cup. But if you want to be part of the conversation, 011-8838-947, as South Africans, wherever you are around the country, the continent, or the world, do keep in touch. You can switch on to YouTube right now and you can see our esteemed assistant coach of the Spar Proteas who's joined us here in studio. Be part of the conversation. Send your WhatsApp voice notes. Oh man, she's been such a beacon of hope for little girls aspiring to play netball for many, many years. I mean, a former star herself, eh? That's why when she comes here, we roll out the pink carpet. Yeah. Believe you me when I tell you that Netball World Cup on home soil is certainly a cherry on top for one Dumisani Chauke. And for her to be a part and parcel of the Protea squad is without doubt very, very befitting indeed. Going to be catching up with this towering legend. Eh? I always feel I have to climb on a little staircase and, give a nice good hug. That's how tall she is. I mean, we're going to be seeing what the team has, ticked so far as the preparations for the World Cup is concerned. Just 50 good old days to go. Dumisani Chauke, welcome to the show.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, at some point we were counting down 150 days, but today we have whittled it down. When we wake up tomorrow, it's going to be 49. What's that feeling for you?
Anxiety building up, but that's just a bit of excitement hidden behind the nervousness. But it's becoming a reality. So right here at home, we've got the trophy tour going on. We're getting to see it right here for the first time. And yeah, it's just becoming more real that in about 50 days, we're going to have the first center pass being taken down in Cape Town. And the rest is history.
You talk about the trophy tour. Are things like that are very ceremonial, do they offset the mind? Do they get you more ceremonial than focused? I don't know what your take is. Because I go back to 2010, the FIFA World Cup, where there was all these big celebrations. I'm sure you remember them here in Sandton.
Everywhere.
You know, ticker tape parades and so on. And everyone was like, we're getting ahead of ourselves. What are we celebrating? Just, how do you feel as a professional when you have this kind of, ceremony happening?
Well, I think it's good for the public. It's good for the rest of South Africa to get behind the Netball World Cup, for them just to experience that. Because remember, with netball, it only happens in one venue, which will be Cape Town. So it's an opportunity, or it's efforts by Netball South Africa to get the whole country involved. Otherwise, if the trophy just landed in Cape Town and went straight to the venue, the rest of the country would feel left out. So it's just efforts by Netball South Africa to get everyone rallying behind the Spar Proteas, also getting everyone to support the Netball World Cup. Remember, netball only happens for 10 days. That's a short period, 10 days and it's over and we move on with our lives.
No, we know what happened in Birmingham. We were watching and saying, come on, girls. And the next thing I was like, oops, what's going on here?
And then gone. We flew back home.
Done.
Yeah, so it happens quite quickly. So it doesn't take away from the actual focus of the games. It's just efforts to get the whole country involved and feel part of it.
No, when you talk about that, I mean, I'll quickly get into the nitty-gritty, because I know that when the journey started then, there was a different coach. I mean, Dorian Tibodanos's there.
Yeah.
Now Norma Plummer's come back. SOS, hey, please don't relax too much. Come back home.
Yeah.
In terms of philosophy, how do you see the balance now? I know that there was a positive start when she came through, great victory and so on. But having her back, what has that done to the dynamic of the team?
I wouldn't say it really shifted. It more or less improved. I mean, after our disappointing performance at the Commonwealth Games, we needed to go back to the drawing board. And I guess part of going back to that drawing board was also shifting around a few chess pieces. And I think Netball South Africa had a plan in mind, and they still have a plan in mind. And that's why they made that decision. It's infused confidence in the girls to believe again that, they can compete, not just participate, compete against some of the best teams in the world. Quad series, we played quite well. We lost to Australia, we drew to England, and we gave New Zealand quite a good run for the money, except for that third quarter, which haunts us forever. But it's okay, we'll be back.
Excuse me, we all look at the final score and we say 41-61. And then they want to rub salt into the wound and they say, hey, 64-48 against Australia. What is going on? I mean, a lot of people see it, differently, but you're there. You're in the forefront. You know what is going on. You can see the team dynamic as well. What did that quad series do to the team?
Well, the nice thing as well there, we had quite a few first caps as well coming through. We had Uowe to Semi Ngubani, young kid being put in that frying pan with world number ones, and she needed to feel the pressure at that moment. So yes, you're correct in saying that we see it different, because we see it technically, and we have little goals that we set and little targets that we set and we work towards. Sometimes we hit them. Sometimes we miss them dismally, but we always look at the positives and say, okay, so this one worked, this one didn't work, okay, let's go back and work on this one, because this one needs to work next time. So we know what happened in that third quarter against New Zealand. We're fixing it.
What happened?
Let me get a bit technical though.
Please do. I want to get as technical as we can be, because at the end, part of our mission is to get South Africans to even understand the terminology that is used in netball. So please feel free. We are here to interrogate. The ears are there. They'll be calling in. There's going to be WhatsApp voice notes. So please, let's get technical.
So what happened is in the first 2 quarters, we were toe-to-toe. I think we were about either 1 goal or 2 goals down. So the style of defense they were playing there was a man-to-man. Halftime, they made a few changes, and they brought in all their bigs, so to say. They brought in the taller defenders, and they then switched from man to man, and they did a full court press. So with a full court press, they literally filled that entire center third. And when you turn, all you see is black.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're not used to that style of defense, you won't know what to do. So some of our players froze at that moment. And that is where we considered so many turnovers. And I mean, in netball, if you consider turnover and they score off it and they take their center pass and they score, that's already 2 goals. So if that happens about 5 times, that's 10 goals. Yeah. So, yeah, that was the switch. They did that, and our players took a bit long to recognize what they had switched up in terms of defense. They fixed it in the fourth quarter, where we were able to catch up. I think they moved back to man because they figured we were countering the full court press. So, yeah.
So the chess game had begun, basically.
It started last year already. It's just carrying on. It's still going to be a chess game when we get to Cape Town in July.
So that full court press, and one thing I remember, because there's strong similarities between netball and basketball.
Yeah.
So the full court press, it means one thing, the conditioning of the players, because it demands so much more.
Yeah.
Where do you think we are now, just in terms of basic conditioning? I know that there was the camp that was in Stellenbosch early on. I think it was around about February that you had. But just from a conditioning perspective.
No, our players are quite fit. I had one of the girls post on her status. She posted, I think she posted a picture. She's like, yo, I know, I think people can see that we've been working hard in the gym, because they're all having muscles and they're getting big and strong, because that's what we need sometimes. We need them to be able to take the hits and the knocks from the big guns. It gets a bit physical. Netball has become a high contact sport, and our players need to be fit enough to take that. So, yeah, we've had a good team training them down at the Stellenbosch Academy of Sport. Werner, he's our SNC. He's making sure that the girls are fit and they're strong and they're ready to take on the best in the world.
Talk about taking on the best in the world. When the nations gather, and you would know from big occasions, there's an added little butterfly in the tummy that comes in. You can talk World Cup. You can build up World Cup. But you experience it there. Match day 1, national anthems, opening game. It's a different situation indeed. Talk to me about the mental capacity of them to handle that.
Well, we do have a nice mixture of senior players and some junior players. Some of the junior players, what we did, we introduced them to that world stage at Quad Series.
Correct.
Because we wanted that pressure, that noise to be familiar when they get to the World Cup. Some of them have played SC Under-19, SC Under-20, so they understand the jitters of the first game, the first center pass. And that is why, again, in January during the Quad Series, we were giving some of them opportunity to take court as well to start the game, because certain players can start, certain players play better off the bench, and you need to know who does what the best. So we've studied our players. We sort of know in terms of their personalities, their capabilities, their strengths, and that's what we focus on. And they're quite a strong bunch of players. They're not even a bunch of players, actually. They're like a family.
I mean, I see some of their videos that they post, and I mean, it's just there's a family vibe. Those who can or cannot dance, whatever it is that you can do, you go to town, but that's been beautiful to watch, because it just reminds me of different, let's say, senior cricket teams that have been there before, or senior Springbok rugby teams that have been there before, and camping, getting to know each other. And you're starting to see that dynamic that is flourishing. And you talk about infusing some of the, the junior type of players in terms of caps, though. Was that what gave you the confidence that of the 15, you were able to give like 7 debutants an opportunity?
I mean, selection at the end of the day just boils down to performance. If you are performing on the court and you are able to meet the demands of the game plan, and you are able to implement the strategies, we give you the nod. All the players that were selected purely based on performance and purely based on how they'll be able to counter what we're going to come against. So yes, it's good to see that we have quite a few youngsters in there, and part of that as well is, every 4-year cycle you do have quite a few retirements as well. So you don't want players retiring and leaving a huge void. So already it's sort of like a handing over of the baton to some of the juniors.
The responsibility.
responsibility, and also them knowing like this is how things are done. So when the seniors are not there, you take charge. I mean, even though we have a captain and a vice captain, we have a leadership group within the entire squad as well of 21. There were certain subgroups where they group themselves. So you have the social group, you have the clothing, and then you have the duty list. So everyone gets to do a bit of everything. So they share responsibility, and that is why I said that they are more like a family. Yeah.
I love that family environment, because that's exactly what you're going to be needing. Down in Cape Town, we need to be the new family that comes into netball one way or the other. But as a collective now, as the technical team, you believe that you've struck the right balance, just in terms of infusing the lesser experience or the very experienced. I have no idea why our captain's doesn't have a street named after her by now. I've never seen such strength and tenacity and leadership and just a downright warm human being in her. But getting back to the original question, that as a technical team, that blend, you happy, or are you striking a few little, let's take a big gamble here? Are you doing any one of those?
No, we're happy. We're happy also looking at the future, knowing, post the World Cup, should anyone retire, we do have some of the other players in the squad that can easily just slot in. So we're happy.
Who's most likely to retire? Who's like 5'2" retiring?
Oh, they're going to kill me now. I can't say that. Imagine I say that now. Next thing they're like, coach, who told you? I'm not saying anything.
But maybe they've whispered to you and said, you know what, this is going to be the last.
So I call that player-coach confidentiality. I can't break that. Otherwise, my players won't trust me going forward. I'm sorry, I can't.
They'll go on strike.
No, they won't go on strike. They'll just say, coach, we tell you things and you go and you blast it. So no, I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. You're going to have to wait for the press release, the announcement. Yeah.
We don't like those things. We don't have fax machines here anymore. we do things differently. But what do you say? You lose a lot in terms of personnel.
No, not really.
Not?
Okay. No, not really.
Okay.
No, not really.
I mean, I'll respect that. It makes perfect sense. You can't be talking retirement just before a World Cup. But it's always nice to know as well. Because, I mean, yourself from varsity netball, your rise to where you ended off, it must inspire so many different people, because the level of game that you went into, I mean, the records, one day we'll do a sit down of an hour just to look back at your career. I think there's some amazing things you did. There was a lot of gold medals that were won when you were coaching, whether it was Zambia, whether it was Angola, and so on. You brought them back home, So we're just waiting for this gold, at home.
No pressure.
No pressure. You're just hosting.
I look back as well sometimes. I just sit and I think to myself, well, I hope whatever I'm doing is inspiring someone, just encouraging them to either keep going if they feel like giving up, or to look at me and say, listen, if this skinny girl, not skinny anymore though, this tall girl, this stronger girl from Malamulele, could grow up, in those dusty streets and end up on world stages. If it could happen for her, it can also happen for me. So that's all I hope for.
Sure. There's a lot of hope, man. I think it also centers around what we were chatting about at Linda yesterday. It not being full-time here, what does that mean? Where could we be better moving forward? So all of those conversations and a whole lot more when we come back from the break. As I said, Netball Proteas assistant coach Dumisani Chauke is here. She's my guest. Your questions, your comments, your well wishes. Hey, we welcome all of those.
Marawa Sports Worldwide Live.
In 3, 2, 1.
On 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live. #MSW.
We can stay here, stick with what worked before, keep our eye on that one spot, steadfast. Or we can recognize that the only constant is change. At 91, we believe that with change comes opportunity. That's why we have 250 investment professionals in the world's investment hubs actively seeking opportunities for you, wherever in the world they may be. Isn't it time to change how you see investing? Invest offshore with 91. 91. Investing for a world of change. 91 is an authorized FSP.
Power, precision, performance. It's no coincidence that so many P's describe the perfect pickup. It's also no accident that the closest you'll get to perfect is the new GWM P Series range. Aside from proven off-road pedigree and luxury interiors, the GWM P Series is the first pickup in SA with a 360-degree camera, semi-autonomous driving, and a sunroof. Visit dealassist.gwm.coza for special offers. GWM P Series, the power of perfect performance.
Eish, khopela. Eish, excuse man. Okay, eish. Skip the khopela. With KFC Q Skip, order and pay online to get in and get out. No queue when you collect. Only on the KFC app.
This is 9, 4, 7.
Feeling bloated and uncomfortable? Bad bacteria in the stomach could be the cause. Improve your gut health with South Africa's preferred probiotic, ProBiflora 9-strain adult intensive rescue. It contains 9 different good bacteria strains and has 50 times more probiotics than other leading brands. ProBiflora is proven to bring the good back into your gut. There are many probiotics, but only one ProBiflora. Available in leading pharmacies and retail stores.
We all crave things that aren't good for us.
Just be a pop star.
From the creator of Euphoria comes a thrilling HBO story exploring the glorious heights and darkest depths of a woman's journey to reclaim her status as the greatest pop star in America.
I want to be the biggest touring act ever.
Starring Abel the Weekend Tasfaye, Lily Rose Depp, and Troye Sivan, the engrossing HBO original, The Idol, is first on Showmax. Sign up at showmax.com.
Lotto Stars Aviator is here to launch your millionaire dream. Place your bets now and watch them get multiplied. Bet on how high the plane will fly and make sure you cash out before it flies away. You could win a payout of up to 2 million rand in seconds. Lotto Star, your world of live games.
Lotto Stars, licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No under 18s. National Responsible Gambling Program. 0800 006 008. T's and C's apply. All games are fixed odds betting events.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
I said, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
With the one and only Benny McCarthy. He was saying that he couldn't believe he was head coach of AmaZulu. Today, he's coaching at Manchester United. What do you make of it when you look back at it from the UK and you say, my team, what's going on?
I don't have a single bad thing to say about that club.
But did you believe that you needed to leave at the time you left?
Every time we make 10 steps forward, these people take you 5 steps backwards. After all these years, the changes that I wanted to be made, I see they're happening now. Money can't buy you everything. And this is me now at Manchester United. And AmaZulu is back to where they were when I walked through the door again.
Look at me now. Look at me now. Oh.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW.
Yeah, they call it the countdown. We call it expectation. We call it the pride of South Africa. Netball Proteas, the assistant coach, Dumisani Chauke, is my guest right here on Marawa Sports Worldwide 947. Also live on Vuma FM, Rise FM, and on Sowetan Live. You can capture it on YouTube as well. You can drop your comments. Hey, you can even do a very basic thing, like a voice note.
Good evening, Brarop. You are hosting a national outcon this evening. And I think today's event at TUT Garangua can attest to that. But anyway, my question, Brarop, will be around the trophy tour that happened last week here in Pretoria. It circulated around the city center as opposed to maybe going to the township. What was the reason behind that? Rory Sang in Pretoria North.
Rory Sang, thank you so much indeed. We will try get hold of Cecilia Molokwane, Netball SA president. I don't want to be putting pressure on our coach here to answer those kind of questions because I'm sure you would never have an answer for it. Eh? So, yeah, we're going to get Cecilia on the line because, trust me, I think I know what to chat to Dumisani about and what to throw to the president of Netball SA. But hey, also lots of good luck messages that are coming through.
Good evening, Mr. Rob. It's Sulfilang here, and good evening to the MSW Shoulders, and good evening to Coach Dumisani Chauke there. Wow, man, really looking forward to this Netball World Cup that's going to happen in 50 days. And we know how time flies very quickly. 50 days will become 50 hours or 50 minutes. But be that as it may, nothing much from me except to wish the Spar Proteas everything of the best. And I do hope and believe, especially from the last voice note that I sent with regards to netball, I really do hope and believe that they're not going to only fill up the numbers, but to also reign supreme and to compete and to ensure that that Netball World Cup title stays here in South Africa. That's my only wish. Wishing the team everything of the best, wishing the coach everything of the best, and cannot wait for the next 50 days for the Netball World Cup. Great show as always, Mr. Rob. Thanks.
Hey, Hulefalang, thank you so much indeed. I saw you nodding your head there. You said some good things. Your response?
Well, we welcome the support.
Yeah.
South Africans have really opened up their hearts and sending us lots of encouraging messages. Everyone is behind us, and we like the confidence that they have in us in terms of making sure that we do well. We just want to make sure that we improve our performance from 2019. 2019 we ended number 4, narrowly losing in that semi-final against Australia by 2 goals. So this year, our aim is just improving our ranking at the World Cup. As to what position that would be, that will be determined on the day.
What do you worry about?
We worry about the unnecessary pressure that is being placed on the players. That, for me, that's a worry.
How do you feel it though? In what way do you get it? Do you put like a blanket ban, let's say, on social media after a certain time where you start to feel no? You just say, it's your professionals.
No. They're adults. They know how to manage themselves. They know how to set boundaries. However, they're human.
Yeah.
And sometimes they will either read or come across something while they're scrolling social media, or someone will screenshot something and send it to them. And unfortunately, because they're human, those things do affect them. Even now with some of the players not making the squad and the comments that were flying around. One decision I made for myself, even when I was a player, I don't read those social media comments.
Yeah.
Because if you start, you won't be able to stop.
Because it's going to mess up with your mind.
It messes up with your mind.
Yeah.
Even the comment, even the compliments, you're going to start relying on those to keep you going, and they won't always be there. So I worry about sometimes the unnecessary pressure that the public puts on the players. The players just want to focus on playing and performing on the court. I understand that they've become household names, which is what we actually wanted for netball, for the country.
And they deserve that.
Yeah, however, the girls need to learn, or the public needs to learn certain boundaries at some point. Otherwise, they lose focus.
And I think that's a key advice that you're giving. I always say to people, I don't know what it is now, but the stat back then was, a population of over 60 million people, but Twitter population is about less than 10 million, So you can't be taking that sample and thinking that's how the nation feels about a person. And people aren't there to be complimentary. They're not there to be nice.
Yeah.
They're there to try and get into people's heads, to try and bring them down. And that, for me, is just kind of useless. You got to carry on with your life and talk about pressure.
Hi, good evening, Robert. This is Tembela Okutsolo, Eastern Cape. I would like to wish Coach and the rest of the squad all the best. And then I don't want to put them under pressure. In fact, for me, I wish them that if they can have a good tournament. And so far, what they are doing, I would say that at least they see that they will have a good tournament. And then I would like to say to her as well, Mintiro ya bula bula.
Yeah, Mintiro ya bula bula. That's a Tsonga saying. Says, let your work speak for you. I appreciate the support all the way from the Eastern Cape. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. I'm loving it. I'm looking at even on YouTube here, so many messages. Mzugisi Ngoloti says that's our queen, Dumi. I see her taking over the reins there as a coach. And Tando Mhlanga says, yo, what a voice. That's compliment to you. Miss P says, I've loved Dumisani since my days of netball back in varsity. I've got so much hope in South African netball team. The ladies truly are making us proud. Miss P says, my money is definitely on Norma and Dumi as coaches. Says, nah, we are taking a medal in this World Cup. Zogisi says, hey, you know, do they have a psychologist to assist the team? Hey, maybe you want to take that quickly? Professional psychologist out there?
We do have ad hoc psychology sessions.
Yeah.
So psychology is a very touchy one because it can be a total hit or a total miss. And also with the diversity in our group, having one blanket approach for a psychology setup, so to speak, won't always work. But we do have, when the girls do express the need for one, we do get... oh, that's me there. Oh.
Was that you on TV? Nons, please take a photo of this. We're going to look great. Just of her and what we're seeing now in the news. That's the beauty of YouTube, the beauty of everything. I think that's what I did to the late Count Dunja. He was on television and he was doing the room dividers, and I took this picture which became his profile pic. Hey, how was that? Look at you with your blazer on.
Oh my
making
goodness.
the news. Beautiful.
I forgot what we're talking about. Psychology.
Psychology.
Yeah,
the psychology of television.
I know, right? I got so distracted. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, guys.
No, why are you sorry? This is your 50-day moment. So please let anything distract you.
Yeah. So yeah, when we identify that there's a need to have one in, we do have a few experts, especially sports related,
sure.
and reputable sports psychologists that have dealt with high performance sports.
Right.
Because psychology is not just psychology. When you're talking to players that are preparing for a World Cup, players that are mature and are semi-pro, so to speak, some are professional. So it's a diverse group, and you need a good mix. You need someone who's got an approach that can cover all the bases. And we've had one now recently when we had a camp in May. We did have a psychology session. It was quite good for 2 hours, and the girls were fired up after that.
They appreciated it, didn't
they? No, they loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, they loved it. It was brilliant.
I mean, any rituals that the girls perform?
They like singing and dancing. I don't know if that's a ritual.
That's a beautiful ritual.
No, and one of the songs that they like is it's actually a South African song. Is it a house song or what is it? I think it's a Mafikizolo song. Sometimes I try not listen because I live I walk out of the change room for them to have their moment as players.
What, to take you by the river,
I can't remember that. I'll remember one day.
Okay.
So usually, we'll get in, we'll do our talks and stuff. After that, we'll get out and we'll let the players do their thing. Or someone to read, some will listen to music, some will dance, some will do whatever. So you let the players, be in their own space, and we respect that, because it allows them to be at their best when they walk out of that change room to step onto the court.
Wonder what should they be singing in the opening game? I know I'm putting you under pressure here, but hey, you have no choice. Please, Oisha, please.
They do like Masambe Nono.
Yeah.
They love it. And they can all dance to it. Everyone.
Uti are cool instead of giving us the,
Haibo.
Eh?
You must sing.
This is our coach demanding this of you.
She doesn't want to sing. It's okay.
She's not getting paid for it, but it's fine. I'll keep this in mind. When we were talking about psychology, I think one of the things I have to add, because sometimes people think but it is something that you graduated. I mean, national diploma in sport management from the Nelson Mandela varsity back in 2008, where you were playing netball at the time. So I suppose integrated in that would have been exactly that same topic and how far things should go as far as that is concerned. So I was just qualifying that. Just where does she get that from? In fact, out of these gazillion messages that were coming through, Pomuzo says, it's my first time hearing such a beautiful voice on the radio. Dumisani Chauke is such a beautiful voice. Shame.
Shame. Why shame?
No, but it's shame with this emoji.
Okay, we'll take that.
You'll take that.
Yeah.
Mzuzi was saying that we want gold. That trophy mustn't leave these shores. South Africans are winners. She's been a winner too. No pressure though. Abel Mtimkulu says, I wish them everything of the best. We are taking this one. Mabudi says, let's take advantage of home ground ladies. Says, let's let it stay at home. So a lot of those that are coming through, and I'm loving the fact that there's a lot of love that's being shared. When I was talking about it not being full-time and you having to split your time and be at university, come back, do the coaching, how has that affected you personally?
Well, I'm not studying now. I'm working. I'm the HOD of sport at Tswana University of Technology, Garangowa campus. It's a balance that netball players have always had to deal with. Whether you're working and playing netball, you're working and coaching netball, you're studying and playing netball, studying and coaching netball. And I think one of the life skills that netball has taught me personally was self-management, time management, being well organized and planning ahead, because there are only 24 hours in a day. From 8 o'clock until, say, 3:30, 4 o'clock, I need to be doing my administrative work. Thereafter, we get onto the netball court. Otherwise, 2 weeks I'm in the office, 2 weeks I'm off in camp. While in camp, sometimes I have to attend to work commitments. I have to attend to meetings because work doesn't stop. But it's about striking the balance. And I'm one of the luckiest people. I always say to people, I'm very blessed in that I work for TUT, and they've allowed me to make the netball be part of my work. Nice. So they see it as part of my work, and I appreciate the management of Tswana University of Technology for that. I mean, every time I need to either go on tour, go on camp, I just get a letter from Netball South Africa, fill in the necessary forms, and I request for that. And they do support me. I mean, even today with what we just saw now on TV, that was the TUT Sport Directorate celebrating 50 days, and it was a pleasant surprise for me as well, where they were celebrating and wishing me and the Spar Proteas well. So I've got great support from the university.
Beautiful. Well done.
Makes life easy.
Well done. Well done, Tswana University of Technology, man. Keeping our coach grounded. Is that what they did? Because you had to handle that Stellenbosch camp on your own. That was before Madame Plummer had to come through. How was that, though?
No, it was good. So that was in March. So we had a camp in March, and 2 weeks, and then Norman Nick flew out, and then the girls were still in Stellenbosch, so I flew back for that weekend. I was there with the girls. It was okay. I mean, it was a continuation of what we've been doing. Sure. I know how to coach, and the nice thing is, before we have any of our sessions, we sit down and we talk about what we're doing, and we separate the work and we delegate. Okay, so Dumi, you're on ball work today, or you're on skills today, and warm up today, and we take turns. So when I had to be there by myself, it was nothing new, it was nothing daunting. You just carried on.
Personal ambitions.
Personal ambitions. Right now, I don't even want to think about that. I just need a break.
A break is your personal ambition. We can't give you a break. Hey?
I know, like people always say,
like, go on holiday.
How do you? I'm like, yo, guys, I need a break. You need a break. How do you need a break? Because if you're not at work, you're at netball. Not at netball, you're at the foundation. There, you're glorious. There, I need a holiday.
You know what? We release you to go and focus on the job at hand. Such an honor. Always great to see you. Always great to chat to you. As I said, after the tournament, you owe me an hour. South Africans don't know half of what they ought to know about your journey. And I think post that, we'll focus on the individual. But thank you for representing the collective tonight. Spread the love, man. You've heard tonight a fraction of what South Africans have had to say. They're giving you the go-ahead. Dumisani Chauke, thank you so much indeed for coming through.
Thank you so much for having me, to you and your team. You guys are awesome. And thank you to your listeners. They were quite great.
Yes, standing ovation.
Marawa Sports Worldwide Live. In 3, 2, 1. On 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live. #MSW.